One more thing. The Dallas Mavericks are learning. They're looking at the team they have on the roster right now. They're looking at the way they've been playing, and they're like, it can't be like this anymore. And it starts with their two-way guys. Welcome. You're still locked on to the Dallas Mavericks, your team every day. My name is Nick Angstadt, media member covering the Mavs for over 10 years. Today's episode brought to you by FanDuel. FanDuel is giving you a new way to turn that energy into an even bigger potential wins with a college basketball parlay profit boost. Head to FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to get started. FanDuel, play your game. It's the One More Thing. I'm joined by Isaac Harris, the One More Thing king himself. We're talking about the Mavs' new two-way guys. The Mavs made some moves over the weekend. We talked about them a little bit on the postgame show with myself, Isaac, and Slightly. We did a three-man weave for the Thunder postgame show. And Slightly didn't even say that many good things about the Thunder, which he normally just like raves about them, which is annoying. So you don't have to worry about that in that one. But the Mavs, they waived Tyus Jones. They signed Ryan Nembhard to a contract. We talked about those moves on the other show. But we didn't talk about the new two-way guys because they waived Miles Kelly as well. So now they have two-way spots open, and they signed these new guys. And they got two guys that have been around the G League a little bit, John Poulakidas and Tyler Smith. They've been around, and both of them, Isaac, are sharpshooters, which to me, let's just start there. Before we even talk about what they're about or anything, to me, that's just a sign of the Mavs learning. They got to have more shooting on the roster. There's no way you go into next season and want to compete in any way, or even should have gone into this season with the amount of shooting they had on the roster. You have multiple guys that just cannot get you a three. Multiple guys that don't look at the three. You have Max and Klay, and that's pretty much it as your volume shooters. You need some more guys like that. Every team in the top six in both conferences have two volume shooter guys that play that are like basically in all their starting lineups. You've got to have more shooting, and I think the Mavs are showing us at least that they've learned it, starting with these two-way guys, and they're doing it from the bottom up.
Yeah, they're 28th in the league in three-point percentage as a team this year.
It's bad.
Yeah, and the other two teams beneath them they don't have winning records either. So.
And they don't take a lot of threes. That's the other thing too. What are they in attempts?
Attempts. Well, let's get our intern on this. Hey, can you look up the attempts real quick?
I thought you had it open. My bad.
The you just say 28th also? Yeah, 28th. He said they're 28th in the league. Also at that. It's funny because the Rockets are 29th in the league, but different record there. But I mean, the whole thing with this is like, hey, we're trying to find. We're just throwing some darts at some guys, and for me, I'm like, hey, if you're gonna swing and take a flyer, this is the last day of the year to sign a two-way guy. So for them, they're like, hey, let's kind of reset this a little bit. You converted Nembhard, like you said. They waived Miles Kelly. He was kid was asked pregame before the Thunder game about Miles Kelly getting waived, and in the nicest way possible, it's like, hey, we kind of seen what we had in Miles Kelly, and so now they're getting their chance at two other shooters, both of them lefties. You look at Pulakidis out of Yale. If you follow college basketball, you watch that. They had Yale had a big game, big upset against Auburn a few years ago. Danny Wolf was on that team before Danny Wolf transferred to Michigan, but Pulakidis was on that team as at Yale, and he's 6'6". You look at him kind of like he's kind of like a bigger Luke Kennard, to where Kennard's probably has better ball handling than him. Smaller, 6'2", 6'3".
He's white though.
6'6". So what'd you say?
He's white though.
But it's like,
okay. Just making sure the comparison was.
I didn't say that.
I was just checking.
So he signs this like Exhibit 10 deal with the Clippers early on this past year, and then he's been in the G League just like lighting it up. Just this like wing that can. It's not just like set shots, catch and shoot, which he's really good at, but he's coming off screens. He's doing some side step dribbles and stuff, and just ran in. And a couple of weeks ago, he hits 10 threes in a game.
You've undersold it. He's played 24 games in the regular season for the San Diego Clippers, the G League team. He shot 47.3% on 8.5 threes per game. Now, the G League, they launch threes. They just throw threes up, and they don't have a lot of bigs in the G League. But 47% on 8.5 threes is that's incredible.
Yeah, so it's like, why not? The Mavs are losing games. They have 22 games left. So you get two new two-way guys in here. We'll talk about Tyler Smith in a second, but with Pulakidis, it's like, all right, let's see how many games he plays. The legends get him. I loved the legends tweet earlier today. The Pulakidis era has begun. which is just incredible. I love that. So he'll get time with the legends. They get, to see him up close. AJ Johnson just spent some time up in Frisco and stuff. So like, it's all about getting them reps and just seeing what they got with a guy like that. Flipping over to Tyler Smith, I'd heard more about Tyler Smith because our old friend Rafael Barlow was really high on him back then a couple years ago. As far as like having him like I think he had him in his top 20.
Rafael Barlow, who used to be of Locked On NBA Big Board, and then now is actually overseas scouting for the Mavericks. I thought somebody broke the stadium. How loud that was! Did you hear that? He's
overseas, like scouting, not like oversees all of scouting for the Mavs. I just want to clarify that.
Oh, did I say that weird? I guess he's overseas. He's overseas, scouting.
But, before he worked for the Mavs, he was obviously over Locked On NBA Draft here with the same network. And so, we talk about draft stuff all the time on our shows and his show. And I remember him talking about this Tyler Smith guy because he was like 6'9", 6'10", but like kind of like super raw, like a really good shooter. And, played above the rim and stuff, but like struggled defense, ball handling, played for G League Ignite, RIP. But it was like, he was kind of like, hey, if you look at him on paper, the size, the shooting, he can play above the rim. He has some defensive plays that you're like, all right, you can kind of see it. Like he's got the physical tools and some of the skills. He just hasn't put it together. But then the Bucks take a chance on him. Like the Bucks draft him 33rd overall in that 2024 draft. And it didn't really work out, the best. It's not like he got some opportunity and stuff there.
He was drafted in the same draft with AJ Johnson, wasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, and both of them were just swings, what the Bucks are trying to do with that. So he's been in the G League too. It had some different stints, different places, but yeah, he's the type of swing too. Like Pulakidis, 6'6", Tyler Smith, 6'9", 6'10", both of them sharpshooter snipers. Just take the swing on it. Play him a lot of minutes. See if it works. I mean, a guy like Tyler Smith, it's like, dude, you got the size and everything. Like, let's see what it looks like. Like, you throw him out there, and it's some of the defensive like lapses, some of the ball handling and stuff with him. That's the stuff he's got to like figure, like fine tune that stuff. But once again, he's going to get a lot of run in Frisco, also where he should.
Today's episode of Locked On Mavs brought to you by BetterHelp. Everybody has things in their life you need to talk about. You also have people in your life that are doing a lot for you. I have people in my life, my mom, my sister, people in my life that just do a lot for me. They carry a lot, work, relationships, families, and all that. And I want to be better for those people that inspire me, those people that are better. I'm better because they are around and in life. And so those people deserve support, and therapy can help create balance and offer space to focus on ourselves because we have to figure out how to be better for those around us as well. Your emotional well-being matters. Find support and feel lighter in therapy. Sign up and get 10% off at BetterHelp.com/LockedOnNBA. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/LockedOnNBA. I've used BetterHelp before. I like that you can change therapists whenever you want because sometimes you match with somebody that doesn't mesh with you or vibe with you at first. So you can change, and that's pretty awesome as well. So they have over 30,000 licensed therapists, more than 6 million people served worldwide. It's BetterHelp, HELP.com/LockedOnNBA. Brought to you by FanDuel. College basketball's nonstop, big games, tight spreads. Momentum swings every single night. From early tip-offs to late-night West Coast shootouts, there's always action on the board. Whether FanDuel is giving you a way to turn that energy into an even bigger potential wins with a college basketball parlay profit boost. You can build any college hoops parlay you want. Isaac is consuming the college basketball all over the place. And I'm sure he's looking at, all right, I know who's going to win here. I want my guy Acuff to win over here. So he's checking out all the spreads, and he can do that. Go check it out with a basketball parlay profit boost on college basketball. Head to FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com. FanDuel, play your game, where you can check out all kinds of different things like, let's check out Rookie of the Year. Con Knibble, -170. Cooper Flagg, +135. It's flipped completely now. Con is now the favorite to win Rookie of the Year, so go check that out and all kinds of other stuff with FanDuel. FanDuel.com. Also brought to you by Indeed Jobs. Workplace chaos, deadlines stacking up, inbox overflowing in the one position you have to fill, like maybe a post-game co-host that actually watches the games. When the pressure is on and you need to find the right hire, this is the job for sponsored jobs. Indeed sponsored jobs. In the minute that I've been talking to you, this is a cool stat. Companies like yours made 27 hires on Indeed. according to Indeed data worldwide. So if you're hiring, spend less time searching and sifting through candidates and trying to figure out who's exactly right, and let Indeed sponsored jobs narrow down the field for you. Check it out. Listeners of our show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to help out your job and give it the premium status that it deserves. Indeed.com/podcast. This is what you go to. Indeed.com/podcast right now. Support our show by saying you heard about it on Indeed. Indeed.com/podcast. Need to hire. This is a job for Indeed sponsored jobs. You know, it's a comp that's coming to my head now as you describe his game. Our old friend Davis Bertans.
Oh. I think Bertans was probably a better shooter than him. I mean, he's a good shooter, but Bertans was like next level.
That's why he got that contract. But if you can prove that, if you can prove to be a scorer like that, then you can prove that you can be viable in the NBA. I mean, the Mavs just need shooting in any way possible. And so, I mean, I look at both of these guys and I'm like, all right, we're taking a chance on developing some guys. And all right, if we're going to take a chance on some guys, they did it with Miles Kelly a little bit. That was definitely a shooter that they tried. But with Nembhard, you get some shooting, but that's not really the archetype of player he is. Now you're trying 2 more times. Like, all right, we have to get a developmental shooter coming up, because how many times have teams like drafted players like this and it's worked out? Usually they kind of come out of nowhere, right? Like the Duncan Robinson type.
Yeah. But shooting's just one of those things that is just like, it's, you know, you look at a guy like this upcoming draft, like Braylon Mullins out of UConn. I'm fascinated to see how high he goes, because there's just always a place for shooting. Like, you have to have shooting in the NBA because it just opens up so much spacing on the floor. And that's where building around Cooper. I'm not trying to say Pulakidis or Tyler Smith is going to be, you know, like these players next to Cooper moving forward all the time. It's just that's the type of, you need shooters around Cooper to open up the space, to let Cooper get into the paint, to let this new draft pick that's probably going to be a guard get into the paint, to let Kyrie Irving, like, it just spaces out the floor so much. So the irony of it was a few years ago coming out of the finals that, you know, Nico famously said, well, we were a shooter away from, and then 2 years later, it's like we were starting the season and we were talking about the weaknesses on this roster early in the preseason, and we're like, all right, do they have enough playmaking? Like, is D'Angelo Russell, like, I thought he was going to be, like, at least fine to be, like, a stopgap until Kyrie came back.
So did he.
Did he? And, you know, so, but the other thing we'd bring up was, do they have enough shooting on the roster? And they just never did this whole season. That's one of the stories for this whole season. They just never had enough shooting.
D'Lo was one of the positive shooters that we were like, well, at least they'll have D'Lo as a positive shooter. And then he didn't play. And so we're like, okay, well, then that takes out a whole like area of this that we didn't expect.
So it's like, you look at next year and you look at this roster and it's like, all right, here's something, like, they got to figure out the guard rotation next year. How do they kind of tinker with that this offseason? What do they do with the big rotation? Do they try to trade Gafford, Lively, Cisse? Who they try to target there? The thing they drastically have to add more of is shooting. Like, they just have to. If you don't think that PJ is going to get back to that type of shooting, then you gotta address that, because Naji hasn't shown you that consistent outside shooting ability. So you just got to add more shooting around Cooper. So I'll be curious too if they go out and try to add a pick and pop big this offseason, just to give another option.
Or they Bagley's taking 10 threes a game and you know, in an offseason workout. He's not
a bad shooter.
He can step out and shoot. Like, if he does that, all of a sudden that becomes a different player. Okay, let's go best case scenario for these two-way guys. Let's go best case scenario. Pulakidis and Tyler Smith. The Mavs figure it out for them, develop them. They become what? Let's start with Pulakidis. What could he become for the Mavs?
I mean, just like a version of Luke Kennard that he's a guy that's coming off the bench. The role that Luke Kennard's played with the Clippers, the Lakers now, and each one of these teams he's went around to of like, hey, let's, like a Duncan Robinson, which I know Duncan Robinson starts and stuff, but
Kennard did a little bit for the Hawks too.
Yeah, and like I said, he's bigger than Kennard, so it's just I want to see. It's not like I've watched every game of Pulakidis' career. Like, how bad is he good on defense? I don't know what. But there's always a spot for shooting. So we'll see about the, roster stuff.
Tyler Smith's best case scenario.
Gen Z, Charlie V, just like
I still believe in Charlie V.
Yeah, I mean, just that type of, hey, can we throw a stretch big out there that's 6'10", that can just give you, Cooper's off the floor. Cooper's like you could just play him a bunch of different spots, and him defensively too. I want to see, is he big enough to like hold his own at the 5 spot, and then that's a stretch 5 type of thing.
Interesting.
If he's not, then is he quick enough on the perimeter? I want to see that.
Could you play him in a lineup with PJ and Flagg? Like if the PJ and Flagg duo, maybe one of the things that they didn't have this year where people are like, oh, they don't play well together. Maybe they didn't have shooting around him. Maybe you add this guy, and all of a sudden that's enough size and shooting that lineup kind of makes sense and it unlocks it a little bit.
Yeah, it's just that once again, it feels like I'm saying the same thing. Like there's always a spot for shooting. It's the harder things to find sometimes is the creators.
Viable.
So it's like you are going to most likely there's a lot of different question marks about the roster for next season that will get figured out this offseason. But the one thing I think you can be next season that they'll figure out this offseason.
They might figure it out. They might figure it out. We thought they were going to figure it out last season. They apparently didn't.
But one thing I do feel at least confident in right now is they should have 3 creators for sure in Cooper, Kyrie, and the new draft pick. Whether it's, Michael Brown or Walker or Acuff, whoever it is. And it's like, all right, those are 3 players right there that we know are going to be creating offense. Throw some shooters around them and see the space that opens up then.
Thanks so much for hanging out with us on Locked On Mavs. And one more thing, we've got more episodes coming all the time. Guys, thanks so much for hanging out with us on Locked On Mavs.
Peace out.
Boom! Check out the LockedOnMavericks.supercast.com ad-free episodes of this show and all kinds of other stuff in the links in the description.